Hi everyone, this is Ella Marie Francisco. I'm going to pull some cards for June 2025 as an overview to see what we need to know for the whole month. I know people are all over the map, either doing really, really great, or you're falling apart. You're falling apart after doing really, really great. So I'm going to pull enough cards to do the Celtic Cross, and we'll see where we are. Oh, coming in with the Death card is our center card. Wow. Okay. Death card. Devil card crossing us. Wow. This does not look like fun, people. The Nine of Cups underneath us in a position of support. The Queen, King of Pentacles in the here and now. Hanging over our heads is a Five of Cups. It's in a reverse position. The heaviness. In our gateway to the future is the Queen of Cups, also reversed. The Justice card coming into our future. Eight of Wands, some kind of karmic destiny. The King of Wands. I like it when the kings and queens show up. At least we know we're getting somewhere. And the Nine of Wands is our final card. Wow. Wow. These are going to be really intense energies. Let's go over them. We're starting with the Death card. You know, we are death and transformation. How many times ourselves recreate ourselves moment to moment, day to day? You die 1,000 deaths in any given life, you know, having to resurrect yourself and clean yourself up and pick yourself up and be willing to surrender and let go. So as the Death card, I think we are in a lot of ways finishing our cycles. A lot of us, I know, have gone through intense healing cycles over the last year and a half, you know, poking away at this trauma, poking away at the residual lackluster of, you know, the debris that comes with this kind of willingness to change and grow. So as the Death card, it shows, you know, we have inevitable new beginnings that are coming into our world, basically. Inevitable ones that are probably based on what we've seen as the other cards coming. Soul destiny, karma, and all the rest are being activated. So be willing to begin anew. Be willing to understand that you really are supposed to start new stories, new ideas, new tangents, new projects, new people, you know, new relationships. There's always something waiting for you that you haven't brought in yet. The other sense too is, you know, what is death without rebirth? So like I know a lot of people are going through a spiritual rebirth. You come in like that, unencumbered. You come in less, what's the word they're trying to give me? I almost hear frigid, but that's not what they're giving me, I don't think. It is. It's like the frigid stare of death, of cold, hard death. You know, you're meant to let go. We're not meant to hold on to everything. So anyway, many of us have enjoy or are enjoying a literal spiritual rebirth where you can wipe the slate clean and start afresh. So, and then with the Devil crossing us as the energy that is coming at us in June, this is a test, essentially. You know, some of us may have already worked out our boundaries. Usually you need really good boundaries, firm boundaries when the Devil shows up. You need not to be surrendering to temptation. You need to be surrendering to your own life force and moving it forward. So, you know, you may, in your newness, in this new beginning, may be tempted to go back to some of your old ways that you've been trying to die off. So And you may also be more aware because you are clearer and you are more vulnerable and you have healed something and you do have some insights that you may be looking at yourself and realizing there could be some self-sabotaging tendencies that have been subliminal running underneath all the other programming, and you've died all of that off. You've killed it all off. So now you're kind of left with what am I left with but myself and the energies that I'm perpetuating forward. So you would be very careful. You would want to be careful with all your steps in this coming month, basically, and make sure that you're not falling prey to old patterning that you've given up, that you want to start fresh after. Yeah, and that whatever your temptation, so you may be dealing also with other people's addictions, other people's issues, other people's self-sabotage, other people's things. So here you are in your clarity beginning anew, and you could be like, oh, what if you get dragged into something you don't want to get dragged into? Yeah, so I would say keep your eyes on, your heart open, yet have it open to yourself and your own needs and the assurities that you need to work the best of the energies. So also this, can be Capricorn energy. So you could be going back in time to January and looking at something that happened then that may be triggering now and things like that. There may be a revisit of some of the energies, that could be coming also in through some of the planetary things that we're dealing with. Okay, so underneath us is the Nine of Cups. So I would read this card as how do you want to multitask your happiness? We're not that limited as much as you'd like to think, or talk yourself out of. But you are meant to have a lot of happinesses as you work towards the exalted versions of your own life. So you could be really, especially with the devil on top of us, you could be monitoring your own heart of hearts, making sure that you do have your own happiness in check here and that you're considering your needs and you're considering your own desires. Maybe the old parts of you that you killed off were the ones that were too wrapped into everybody else's ball games, and perpetuity. Maybe you are cutting the last few strings that you need to on your charted path to inevitable happiness, because the next card after this, and having the choice and being willing to work towards your happiness, or you're willing to bring into fulfillment. Usually there's some kind of a reward spiritually and energetically when we handle the stuff, not only who we are and how we are, but what's hitting who we are and how we are. So when you're willing to work with the choice and go, I'm opting in for my own happiness and my own wealth of abundance and all the other things that could bring me exalted versions of my own life, then I'm willing to stand in the power of my solar plexus, channeling both the divine will through my crown chakra and right out into the solar plexus, forward into the world. So, there's a lot at stake if you give into this thing, right? Like this is what's waiting for you is more self-empowerment and understanding. And there's nothing like a little trap into, I was going to say trip. I thought I was saying trip, but I kept saying trap. The trap of understanding and acknowledgement and being able to see the dynamics working underneath the surface constantly. There's always way more dynamic than you're picking up on, even as much as you may know and know and know, there's always something you don't see. Anyway, if you're in your power, if you're willing to own it and claim it and be abundant with it and balance your own feminine, your own masculine, how do I feel and how do I receive? How do I act upon that information in a way that is in my divine best interest? So if you can think of it that way, sometimes, falling into the trap of the devil is to see what your divine interests are and to move with it through there. So it's a power up moment. I think it's going to be high and low because of some of the temptations, and sometimes we do need to have a step back before we propel forward. So don't get too tripped up if suddenly, as the Five of Cups is warning us, that we may be taking a deep dive into our emotional world where we're really going through it emotionally, like first chakra clear out kind of stuff, which can make you want to off yourself and You already had your spiritual death. So there's no sense in offing yourself at this rate. Now you're just making sure the waters are clear that you're swimming in, right? And you're getting more committed to how it feels to you because you need the choices that are working towards your higher versions of yourself and your higher versions of yourself. So if you take a deep dive into the emotional pools after you've got some clarity and feel better about everything, take that as a sign that it's also part of the growth and you're just circling around a little bit more to get whatever's left over that needs to clear out. You can feel more comfortable in your power. Often our new power and our new breakthroughs are uncomfortable, so we can get weird emotional over them, even though it's progress and it's working for us. Oh yeah, our gateway to the future is the Queen of Cups reversed. This is a lot of feeling nature as well. Could be a lot of overwhelm. If part of your clear out is still happening, you just might be getting into deeper truths anyway. All of this. It can seem very heavy, but I promise you, it clears out so much density in the human field that you have no other option but to be more empowered and clear on all the steps going forward. And you're coming into the gateways to the future with the Queen energy, so you're already connected. Unfortunately, sometimes the price of connection is more connection. And as much as some people fear connection to themselves, it's inevitable. The more you strip away the parts that aren't you, the more you can reveal into the parts that feel better, that you came here to do, and you were more involved to evolve with. This is a pouring out as well. So I would say we may be having a lot of really emotional conversations this month because of the way it's going. It's probably healthy if we do. Let's not stop yourself if you feel the need to. Let's put it that way. And be aware that you just might not be feeling your own feelings. I mean, the increased sensitivities are such that you may have to really monitor, are these actually my emotions or am I processing somebody else's? You can be in a state of sensitivity and energetic overwhelm during this month too. So I would say, more reason to make sure that if the bottom of this month, the support that we have is to make sure we're choosing our happiness and are choosing the things that are filling our cups. June should definitely be the month where you're filling your cup, not depleting it. And the other cards we have, of course, are the like the Justice card. You can read this as twin flame, soulmate, divine contracts, criminal law, anything to do with contracts and high laws, high spiritual laws, even the earthly ones that we pay attention to. So it's it's also the sign that your spiritual contracts are up, basically, meaning, everything you're doing is with those in mind. So if you have, like I said, dealt with your own deaths and resurrections and temptations and things like that, like maybe I don't need to be here in this world. Like there are a lot of people who are wondering if they want to get out, right? Like, I mean, I run across a lot of people every month and, there are plenty that are okay with going. And it's really sad because I'm not sure it's for the right reasons. And I'm not sure they understand the energies around the spiritual death and the necessity of constantly allowing ourselves to emotionally and spiritually and psychically purge the things that are no longer serving us, that are no longer supporting us, and are not matching the new exalted frequencies that we're hitting when we're in our power and when we are confident and divine and connected to our source and our all-knowing ability. So I feel like it's like our higher selves are a little more demanding, like, let's go, chop, chop, tally ho. We've got a journey here. We've got a mission here. We've been working towards this. Let's get going. That's why we want you to be happy. We want you working your own miracles here on earth, right? So by divine right, you have the right to live your exalted life. And this is what hopefully, amidst all the other debris that's clamoring for your attention, that is the loudest voice you're hearing. You are being welcomed home to your own full totality of you in this is the possibility in ways that you haven't even remembered you can be. I'm seeing a lot of people reclaim things from past lives, gifts and talents. Me, myself, and part of my growth and the amount of readings I'm doing day to day, like the growth is exponential and the possibilities are always waiting. Don't let a little bit of emotional hiccup get in the way of all the glory waiting for you around the corner, over around the block, kind of a deal. So we do have karmic destiny awaiting. We always do. There's always some kind of a juncture point that we're working towards. That's probably why we're sort of being forced to really look at what we really need right now, what we really want right now. I know we're very heart chakra dominant, energetically, although not everybody's living in their heart, which is kind of ironic, but regardless. It's the up and away moment. If you really are connected, if you're willing to live in your power, you're setting sail here upward, maybe with all of the extra boost, through Aquarian, like taking off into worlds unknown because you're in the mood to travel. You've been bored and stagnating otherwise. We've got also the King of Wands, which, is a lot of verve, a lot of veracity and verve, a lot of drive, a lot of will, not a lot of feminine action in this, unless they're already so connected to spirit that that's the only step they take. So those of us who are driven in our life purpose, who don't question what our spiritual contracts are, who already know what the rules are and where the game's being played today, you're rising to the occasion and showing up for it. And so it could be a little revolutionary, like I'm hearing revolutionary thought processes here or ideas coming forth. And then the final card is the Nine of Wands, which is to me, it's the PTSD card, but it's healing and then talking and inspiring afterwards. Like some people go public with their pain. Some people write a book after they've processed enough of it and they can get through the day without wanting to die, basically, from the pain of it all and the grief of it all and the horrific, So, I mean, if we've already got the devil energy crossing us, then, whatever the healing is that's going on is going to be amplified. So let's say there is somebody around you that's, or you or anybody, who has these excesses they've been trying to fight and they can't get a hold of them and they're realizing how self-sabotaging they are. It could be so far into the wound, it may be harder for you, even though you want to get there, into the clarity, into the newer territory, into the rebirth part. Not the, oh my God, I'm dying part, especially with the energy I want to mention, with the combination of this hanging over our heads and an indefinite amount of exploration into our first chakra. I mean, the horrors live in our first chakra. So if Spirit's bringing us in June deeper into that core to do more clear out, this could be very, very troublesome for people who are already on a tethered line. So even if, so you may be the one making the breakthroughs and understanding all of this and making your paces in a way that you're going to get to the finish line regardless. You're going to be more soulful about your pain, and you may even get into the point where you can understand why things needed to be the way they were, so you could learn the lesson you needed to learn that you couldn't have learned otherwise. Like that could be kind of what you're processing through some of this, if you're doing it in sort of the more exalted, patient side, not the damning, you've done it all wrong side. Do you know people that have been tempted by suicide or been running on the edge between the worlds, wondering which is the better choice? I would just say that June is a month where you're going to want to keep an eye on these guys and girls and help them understand that, when you're clearing something and you're healing something, it's because spirit and energetics have conspired to make it so, one way or another, right? Like, it's not all because you've been driven to do something or you've been done, willingly going into something here. It can be completely different. So don't assume you know everything about why your pain is what your pain is right now, and the despondencies that may be triggering as you clear some of this. It's like a homeopathic reaction. If you're healing something torrentially horrific, you're going to feel that for like a day or two. You know, you may be clearing a lifetime where those kinds of feelings went on for decades, and you're clearing them in like a sunny afternoon alone in your bedroom, you know, wanting to die because you don't understand why you're in so much pain. So I want you to try to keep whatever pain you're in loosely in perspective. Don't start attaching thought processes to it. And don't start attaching, oh, it's because I did all that's wrong. If spirit is driving you to heal, everything is right. It's because things are going to be better right after that. So just hang on there, okay? Because I think it's going to be an intense month. It's going to be really wild. Like if you've worked through your stuff, you're going to have a great time because you're going to start to see how your own empowered essence is working for you all the time, even when you're asleep or, you know, busy. So keep up the good work and definitely keep the faith. Thanks for coming into my channel. I hope you have a great day and a great everything. And yeah, may the force be with you. See you soon. And if you need extra help this month, don't be afraid to reach out, right? Because that's part of the evolution, is being able to ask to have your needs met. So if you're afraid to ask the people in your immediate reach, ask a bunch of strangers and see how that goes, and just keep asking for what you need. All right, it's definitely part of it. So don't be cutting yourself off. Don't be self-sabotaging your own fulfillment this month. All right. Much love. See you later. Take good care. Bye for now.